Question number 1, what if the owner takes an offer, but no investor wants the home? Are you liable to buy? So this is without a doubt the most common question I get, and understandably so. What happens if you put a house under contract, but you can't find a buyer, right? Are you stuck? Do you have to buy the house? No, okay? If you do things the right way, you will never get stuck with a house. Now, there are a lot of tips and pieces of advice I could give you to avoid that situation, to avoid the situation of where you're not going to have a buyer. But that's a topic for another video. Let's talk about what happens if your contract runs out of time and you don't have a buyer. So, first and foremost, in all of your contracts, you should be putting in an inspection clause, right? Or an inspection contingency that says you have 30 days or whatever day that you decide is best for you. Mine are generally 30 days. I have a 30-day inspection period where within those 30 days after signing the contract, I can terminate that contract for any reason regarding the inspection, okay? So if I'm on day 25, well, let's just say I'm on day 29 and I don't have a buyer, right? If I have that inspection clause in there the right way, I can go to the homeowner and say, hey, look, it needs a little bit more work than we thought. The numbers aren't exactly coming back where we thought they were. I'm going to need to get this for a lower price with you, or I'm going to have to terminate the contract because it's just not what we thought it was going to be. And yeah, some sellers are going to be frustrated because you just tied up a bunch of their time, and you definitely want to avoid this if at all possible, but it may happen. And if it happens, you need to be able to exercise that clause in your contract, okay? You need to be able to take advantage of that contingency in your contract. And a lot of homeowners will understand. A lot of homeowners, you're going to go to them and say, hey, look, it's not what we thought it was. It's going to need a little more in repairs. I'm going to have to get this for a lower price. Otherwise, this is not going to work out. They're either going to walk away from the deal and say, hey, no problem. I'll go find someone else that's going to pay me more. Or they're going to say, well, how much lower do we need to go? And then you can try to get a lower price. And by that time, you should know about what it's going to sell for because your buyers are going to be telling you. If you have something under contract that you're trying to sell to a buyer for 80 grand and they keep telling you, I can only pay 60 grand for this, well, then you need to get that contract down with the seller in order to be able to give it to a buyer for about 60 grand because you're getting buyer feedback, okay? So nothing really can happen. You can terminate the contract. The answer to this question is you can terminate the contract within the inspection period, okay? Or you can renegotiate, get a lower price, sign a new contract, get a new 30 days, and sell it to a buyer at a lower price because by then you're going to know what kind of prices the buyers are looking for, okay? So are you liable to buy? No. There is no one in the world that can make you pay for a house you cannot afford, okay? And the seller is not going to want that either. That's just not feasible. Okay, so what happens? Are you liable to buy? No, you are not liable to buy. What you'll do is you will renegotiate to get a lower price under the contract and get a new contract, or you'll just terminate the contract, which you are legally able to do as long as you put in that inspection period in your contract. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question, dude. A lot of you guys I know are concerned about that. If you set yourself up right, and there are ways to avoid that situation, like not, over exaggerating your numbers or not exaggerating the ARV. I know it can be tempting to put a house under contract for a little bit more than what you think you should because you want a house under contract. But trust me, it's not worth it. Do your numbers the right way and you can really avoid those situations where, you're not getting buyers when you think you need to be. So that's it, dude. Hope that helps.